Hello, everybody, and welcome to Parent University. My name is Stephanie Heilig. I am an administrator in the Equity Engagement and Partnerships Office. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you being here. I know it's getting cold outside. We're expecting some rain. So again, I appreciate you all taking the time to be with us this evening. Our topic is the Middle and K-8 School of Choice process. We have a lot of information to give to you. But first, let's go through a couple of things. I would love for you in the chat, if you would, let us know what school you're representing. I should remind you, the chat will be posted. It is live, and it will be posted after we're finished. So I just want to be mindful of what we put in the chat, the questions that we'll put there. That will be where you will put your questions toward the end of the presentation for me to answer. Now, there are currently over 100 of you that are logging on, so it is possible that I may not get to your question. So let's talk about which kinds of questions are good to put in there. Questions for the good of everybody are fantastic to put in the chat, but questions that are specific for your child or your circumstance, we'll invite you to send those to us separately so that we can really tackle those independently for you. We ask, maybe that you don't use names because that's always easier for us, that we just keep it very generic. We have an hour together, and so I know we want to get a lot of information to you. Second thing, if this is your first child going through the school of choice process, take a deep breath. It's going to be fine. It's all going to work out. Everything will be exactly the way that it needs to be. My children are older. I've done the process 2 for middle school and then again for high school. I promise you we'll get through it. So the more information you have, the better you will be able to make some really good selections. So I feel you as a parent. I've been there, and we're going to get you through it. You may also want to grab a piece of paper and a pen so that you can jot down some of your questions as the presentation goes on. The presentation that we're going to watch is pre-recorded. You'll see a lady that looks ironically like me. She's on the presentation. She's going to give you a lot of information. Don't stress. After today, this particular webinar will be posted to our website. So you can go back and you can watch it over and over and over again. You could share it with your friends. You can watch it with your child so that this won't be just the last time that you'll get that kind of information. So in a moment, we're going to start a video. You're going to sit back, relax, write down lots of your questions. And then once the video's done, I'm going to show you our webpage, which is linked in the chat. Not in the chat, in the resources area. It is linked for you. We'll go to that webpage and I'll show you some of those resources that you can see. From there, we'll answer as many questions as we can. And I'd like to welcome our viewers that are joining us in Khmer and those viewers who are joining us in Spanish. Hello. Hello, everybody. We are translating that feed for you as well. So without further ado, I think we're ready. So our booth, if you're ready to roll the video, I'm ready when you are. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'll see you in a few minutes. Hello, 5th grade families. I am Stephanie Heilig, administrator in the Equity, Engagement, and Partnerships Office with Long Beach Unified School District. I am happy to welcome all of you to the Middle and K-8 School Choice process. This video will provide you with some important information so that you can be prepared to make your middle school selections. We will begin with an overview of Long Beach Unified's middle and K-8 schools. Long Beach Unified has a variety of schools to explore. There are 15 middle schools and 6 kindergarten or K-8 schools, including Avalon, which is a K-12 school. LBUSD middle and K-8 schools offer over 20 elective choices for students. What exactly are the differences between these schools? LBUSD middle schools are large, accommodating between 500 and 1,500 students, and offer a wide range of electives and special day class options. Residents are given priority at these schools when they select the school as their first choice. Kindergarten through 8th grade, or K-8 schools, are smaller, accommodating about 200 to 450 middle schoolers, on the same campus as kindergarten through fifth graders. There are limited special day class options at these schools. Residents are given priority, and so are continuing students, as long as the school of choice application is completed. Both middle and K-8 schools accept all students, regardless of GPA, and they also offer accelerated courses for students. Also, if you have a sibling that will attend the same school next year, you will be given priority. Our website is the best way to find the most current information around the choice process. Visit www.lbschools.net. Click on the main menu waffle and then hover over the Families tab to reveal the School of Choice tab. Click on that tab and then click on Middle School of Choice. Our website contains valuable resources, timelines, and frequently asked questions. We ask that you visit this page often for the most up-to-date information as you explore our schools. Our banner will announce the most current news and information. You can find information such as SPED programs, directions on completing the application, and more in the resources section. Scroll down below for our complete timeline of events. While it's not shown on this page, you can change your language on the preference by clicking on the bottom left-hand corner. Now that you have an overview of our schools and our website, let's review the School of Choice timeline and events. We begin with the Prepare and Explore phase. This phase will last until March 21st, 2025. If you are a current LBUSD student, we ask that you take the following steps to prepare. Check your ParentView login to make sure your email and password are active. If you have made any changes to your address or personal information, contact your current school to request changes. Finally, make sure your children are linked under the same ParentView account. Your address and information listed in ParentView will be the data that is used by the School of Choice process, so it is important to make sure that it is correct. The deadline to complete these steps is March 21st. If you are a Long Beach resident and you are interested in attending LBUSD, or if you are returning to LBUSD, there are a few steps to follow before you complete the School of Choice application. First, you will need to enroll or re-enroll online. This will require you to create a ParentView account or to use your existing account to upload and update documents and information. Your elementary school of residence will verify uploaded documents and transfer your child to the School of Choice queue. The deadline for this is also March 21st, 2025. If you are not a resident of Long Beach Unified, but you wish to attend, you must obtain an interdistrict permit, or IDP, from your district of residence. Each school district is different, so please contact your district for details on obtaining one. Once you have the IDP, you will submit it online by going to our website and entering interdistrict permits into the search bar. That web page will list specific times and dates for submission of the IDP. The LBUSD Secondary Schools Office will begin placing students with IDPs in the late spring and will continue through the summer of 2025. Let's take a look at a way that you can explore our schools. Aside from our website, a great way to explore our schools is to attend our middle and K-8 Choice Fair on Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at Cabrillo High School from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. All of our schools will have an information booth where families can meet staff and students while getting an overview of each school. There will also be resource tables including after-school care and transportation to answer your questions. Each of our middle and K-8 schools will host a site visit for families. You will be able to get a feel for the school by engaging with the staff and students, visiting classrooms, and exploring electives. Our website has a complete schedule of these dates and times. Now that we've talked about preparing and exploring, Let's move to the application phase. The middle and K-8 School of Choice application opens on March 24th via Parent View. All 5th grade students should complete the application. While the application opens March 24th, it is not a first-come, first-served process. All on-time applications will be considered equally. You will log into your Parent View account and click on your 5th grade student. Then on the School of Choice icon, followed by the 5th grade parents, click to open SOC application button. This is a sample of what the application looks like. Your school of residence will be automatically selected for you. If this is where you wish to attend, there's no need to make other selections. You can select up to 3 additional school preferences and then rank your school choices. Some of our schools are impacted, meaning that there are more applicants than available spaces. The system will place your child at their highest ranked school according to the number of spaces available. Contact your school counselor for assistance with making your school selections. There are also step-by-step instructions on how to complete the School of Choice application on our website under the resource section. Your application must be completed by April 4th, 2025. Once your application is completed and certified, it will be processed. Remember that all 5th grade students should apply. For application assistance, contact your school counselor or our helpline for assistance with making your school selections. There are also step-by-step instructions on how to complete the School of Choice application on our website under the Resources section. After your application has been submitted, the system will begin the assignment process. There are a few placement priorities that are considered. First is your school of residence. If you live within a school boundary and you select it as your first choice, that is given the highest priority. Second is our continuing 5th graders who select their K-8 school. It is important to note that this only applies to those that complete an application. The third consideration is if a sibling will be attending the same school for the fall of 2024. Finally, priority will be given to students coming from an LBUSD dual immersion program that lists Keller or Stevens as their number 1 selection. In some cases, there are more applicants for a school than available spaces. This can vary from year to year. After the placement priorities have been completed, remaining spaces will be randomly assigned to School of Choice applicants, not to exceed the overall capacity of the school. It is important to note that if you are currently attending LBUSD on an IDP, your application will be processed after all of the Long Beach residents have been placed. On April 25th, you will receive a school messenger notifying you that your child's placement is complete, can be accessed via Parent View. The middle or K-8 school that you've been assigned to will reach out with school information and elective selection. Here are some important facts for you to consider when making your school selections. Transportation to any school of choice is not provided. It's important to consider how you will get to and from school each day and how far away the school is from your home. You have priority at your school of residence. However, if you are placed at a school of choice that you selected, your space at your residential school has likely been filled with another student that wishes to attend. There is no priority for feeder schools. Your address on file determines what your school of residence is. Here are some next steps to guide your family through the school of choice process. Open Parent View, I bet it's been a minute, and check your address and sibling information. Visit our website and make plans to attend our choice events. It is important to ask questions while at these events and talk with staff and students. Finally, think about what your interests and what your strengths are. There is a school for everyone, so take the time to think about what's the best fit for your family. Here are some important dates to remember. The Choice Fair is March 1st. Site visits are March 3rd through March 19th. The application opens on March 24th and closes on April 1st. Placements will be available on April 25th. Our team is available to help. You may leave a message on our helpline or send an email. One of our staff members will reach out to you for support. We are excited to support you as you select a middle or a K-8 school for your middle school experience. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to working with you. That was a lot of information from a lady that looks really similar to me. Kind of strange. I'm just kidding. What I'd love to do now, we're going to transition. There was a ton of information there. We've had some people join us since we opened the webinar. I just want to remind you, the chat is live, and that's where you're going to put lots of questions in that chat. I would appreciate it if the questions that you put in the chat are for the good of the group. Specific questions, I did put an email there, so if you would like an answer to a specific question about your child, please email us at that address, and we will get back to you in about 24 to 48 hours. We are right now in the middle. We're getting ready to launch high school choice, but we will get to your questions. I promise you. I know we're a little bit on the early side. Before I get through the chat, and I still want you to put questions in there, I want to go ahead and show you what our website looks like. So I'm going to click over. So I'll ask the booth if you can click me over. I'm going to kind of click over to the website here. When you go to lbschools.net, this is what it looks like, and you can get to it a few ways. You can go up to the search bar and just type in middle school choice. I like to do it this way. I go to main menu. It's a hamburger. My son calls them pancakes, but I like to call them whichever you prefer. And then if you go to families here, if you go all the way over to school choice, click there, and you get this beautiful page. Some good phone numbers here to have, but then you want to go to the side, click on middle school choice. This is the web page that you will get. Now, I must say, this web page is going to be changed as more information is available. Right now, it's pretty generic. Again, we're getting ready to launch high school choice, so that's taking a lot of our priority. However, you can see some important information here. This top banner will kind of give you some information as we get closer to site nights. As we get closer to the application opening, we're going to put that on the top banner. This blue area or teal area is kind of the welcome area, and that will be changed often, so we'll have that area here to give you some info. This resources section here is really important. Here's a welcome letter that some of you may have already gotten in your email. So you can see that here in English and Spanish. This is enrollment. So if you're not currently enrolled in Long Beach Unified, you want to come to us for middle school, that's important information. For those of you that are our students with disabilities, this brochure here in English and Spanish will give you all of the information about the programs that are offered at school sites and some really important information there, phone numbers. And then this one, and I mentioned it in the video, we don't yet have a current view of the step-by-step how to complete the application. I haven't even seen what this year's looks like, although it's going to be really similar. When that is finished, it'll be linked here. Right now it is not, but that will be linked here. So as we get closer to the application, you'll have a step-by-step guide there to help you out. Any other resources that we have, we're going to throw them in this box here. Let me scroll down. Here's the webinar that's happening right now. We'll be posting this probably tomorrow or by the end of the week once it's finished. Some phone numbers to get a hold of us, that email again. And then this one's really important. These are the School of Choice flyers that are here in English and Spanish. So this is going to let you know. You can click on that if you're at home. You can print those flyers. Your counselors have it. I think most of your schools have it posted somewhere. That will tell you the site night. Each of our middle schools will host about an hour site night or site evening where you can go, you can meet the principal, you can meet the teachers, you can walk around the school. Each of the schools kind of does it their own way, where they kind of show off their school. So for any of the schools that you're interested in, these happen in March, so you've got about a month to plan ahead for them. Take a look at those dates, and those are important for you. Scrolling down, here's our complete timeline. And so if you look and you kind of hit the cursor down, it gives you a drop-down menu with lots of good information. There's an explore phase, and then this is a really great section. Our FAQs, or our frequently asked questions section, is here. So we tried over the years to look through our phone logs and talk to our folks and say, what are the questions that parents are asking most? And we've put it on our website for you. So if your question isn't here and you feel like it should be, email us. I for sure want to put that there because I'm sure if you have the question, I'm sure that other parents do too. So that's a really great way to get some questions answered. I do want to mention also, down on the bottom, for those of you that might be new to our site, you can change the language of this website from English to Spanish to Khmer, whatever is most convenient for you, and then everything will automatically transfer over for you. So I did want to show you our website, but again, that will be updated as we have more information for you. I'm going to click back over to our chat, and this is where I want you definitely to put lots of information. And I should say, we had over 300 folks watching, so it's going to be hard to get to all those questions. Some of you now might just be saying to yourself, I'm good. I know where to go and I know where to look. Thanks for joining. If you don't have any questions, no worries. This will be posted and you can come back to it later. But we will spend the remainder of our time answering as many questions for the good of the group that we can. And so we'll put that in there. So let's take let's see. For a year straight, never got what we want, got accepted. So let's talk about kind of the reason why. The school of choice process, it's not perfect. It's about 88% accurate, meaning 88% of kids get their first choice. You have priority at your residential middle school. So understand wherever your address, wherever you live, you have priority there. If you are going to choose a school of choice, you have to think about who's going to also select that school and how many residents are going to stay at that school if they're already there. I think, so this is where we're not trying to game the system, but I want to give you some information. Most of our K-8 students stay. They're already at a K-8 school. They're going to stay there. So if you're not currently at a K-8 school and you're trying to get into one, that's going to be very difficult because a lot of those kids already stay. They don't create extra spaces because staffing at K-8 schools is really tricky. The way that the school of choice process works, every single student has to be placed at a school. So you'll be placed at one school. We try to honor your highest rated school. So if your highest rated school is your school of residence, that's a win. You reside there, that is your school of choice, great. If it is not your school of residence, we have to go through those priority listings. All of the residents get placed first, and in some cases, there are not very many spaces for everybody else that wants to get in. Some of our schools are impacted, which means we get way more people that want to go there than there is space for. At that point, after residents and we go through our list, we have to kind of make room for, it's a randomized lottery for the remaining spaces that are there. So it isn't a perfect process, but we really do try to honor your highest selected school. I also should add, it's a really good idea to think about how far away the school is, because once you select a school that's not your school of residence, if you get it, your space that you kind of surrendered or gave up is probably filled by another student. So we can't just, like, if you change your mind and say, oh, you know what, I don't want to go there, your space has already been filled, and then it's really difficult to create space where it doesn't exist. I use the analogy of like a restaurant, a crowded restaurant. If there aren't any available tables, we can't seat you at that table. The same thing goes for that school of choice process. So I know it is tricky. We try every year to get as many kids into those schools of choice as we want to. If you do select something on the application, like it's your second or third choice, if you do get your second or third choice, you will be placed there. So if it's not a school you want to go to or don't want to go to, don't put it on your school of choice application. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. I did want to kind of tackle a little bit of some of our dual immersion families. So you could see in the video, it is true, we are opening a strand of dual immersion at Stevens Middle School. What that means is you'll still have Keller, that will be available. That's full dual immersion 6th through 8th. And then this year, to accommodate our increasing numbers of dual immersion folks, we are opening a strand of 6th grade at Stevens. The next year it'll increase to 6th and 7th, and then the following it'll be 6th, 7th, and 8th. That means it's one strand, not the whole school. You can still attend Stevens and not be in the dual immersion program. So I wanted to bring that up. I also should mention I'm fighting off a cold. So if I do have to stop for a moment and kind of clear my throat, I will, and I'm feeling that coming on, but I'm going to try to fight it off as much as I can. Okay. The million-dollar question, which schools are impacted? That is a great question that I can never answer year after year with any sort of accuracy. We do not know year after year what schools children will select. I can tell you K-8 schools are typically impacted just because the 8th graders continue to go there. What you could do when you go to the site nights at the schools, you can ask them if they are an impacted school. They can look historically through the numbers and they can say, yeah, you know what? Not everybody that selected us last year got in, or they could tell you everybody that selects us gets in. So that's something to really think about. I say that because I don't want to sway you from choosing a school that you really want to go to. In some cases, the middle school office, which determines, it's actually the secondary schools office, which determines how many schools get into each middle school, how many spaces there are. They can look at those numbers and really try to honor that and maybe expand those numbers. So it's hard to know each year. There are certainly some schools that are historically impacted, but I would, at the site night, if it's a school you're interested in, I would certainly talk to them. 1 year we would say something's impacted and then it's not. But when you go to fill out the school of choice application, if the school is impacted, it usually will give you a notice and say, hey, this school's impacted. Are you sure you want to go ahead and proceed? So I wanted to throw that out there. Okay. Let's see here. Are there any schools that are priorities for students with IEPs? Great question. There is. So there are, depending on what your IEP says and what your accommodations are, you're going to want to go to the resources section and download or look at that brochure. There are certain schools that offer certain programs for kids with IEPs. Depends on what the IEP says. We don't necessarily give priority. What our special education office does, it assists us with placement of students with IEPs, and then we honor those placements. So it's really the special education department for our SDC students. If all this is mumbo jumbo, by the way, it probably doesn't apply to you. But for those that it does, you'll fill out the same application that everybody else does, prioritizing your schools, and then really the special education department helps us and aids us in placing you at a school that will offer the services that you require. So you definitely fill out the same application just like every other middle school student. One question that always comes up, if we're just going to go to our residential school, do we have to fill out the school of choice application? Please. Yes. Here's why. Then we know you're coming. It's your residential school. You have priority. It's the first one that pops up. Click yes, certify, done. Very, very simple. If you are right now at an elementary school of choice and you want to go to a neighborhood school, or you're at a K-8, you're there on school of choice and you want to stay there, it is extremely important that you fill out that application, especially if you want to remain there, especially for our K-8s. If you don't fill out a school of choice application, we are assuming you do not want to remain at the K-8, you want to go back to your residential middle school. So that's what will happen. So it's very important that if you do want to kind of remain, and again, we try as hard as we can to get students to stay there, but it's really important for you folks to make sure you fill it out. It won't take very long, I promise you, but it's important for us to know where you are so we can reserve your spot. That's important. Okay. Let's see here. Couple people asking for emails. I did put it, if you go back through the chat kind of at the top, you can see it. It's HSMS Choice Help at lbschools.net. It's on our website. So that's our specific email where our school of choice team will be answering the questions for you. Okay, all right. So for those of you also that have IEPs that are asking about full inclusion or co-teach models, I would encourage you to speak with your case carrier. And when you go to the school sites, when you go to visit, you can speak with them about the programs that they offer. We don't often determine what a middle school will offer. We just do placements. So I think that it's important to talk to a middle school site specifically about that information. Okay. Let's see here. Will the Stevens Dual Immersion School be open? Stevens will be open, and there will be a representative there to speak on the dual immersion expansion into Stevens. So if you are coming from a DI school, and Stevens might be, if you want a traditional middle school, I would say certainly check that out where your dual immersion students are mixed in with some gen ed students, because Keller is full 100% dual immersion. So there will be somebody there to speak about that. Okay. All right. Couple of you are asking about high school. Not to stress you out, but I want you to focus on your middle schooler. High school's another beast. I think this is great advice. You tell your kids when they go to middle school to be the best version of themselves that they can be. That's from a parent perspective. I think that it's really important as you think about middle school. It's a big transition, right? Going from 5th grade to middle school is big. It's big for you kids that are watching, but parents, I know it's big for you too, right? Your kids are gonna, all of a sudden, they're gonna need you, but they're not gonna want you. So that's a common theme that we hear, and it's gonna be a different kind of support. And I know this from experience. So I would just tell kids, go to middle school, try all the things that you can to see what you like, to see what you don't like. And another great piece of advice, find out what you're really good at. What's something that floats your boat? What do you really like to do? And then when you think about going into high school, some kids know, some kids still don't know. Some kids in high school don't know. But I think just telling kids, be the best version of yourselves that you could be, given the school that you're at, is great. I also want to say this too. There will be some students that through our school of choice process don't get the school that they want. It's impossible to give everybody. I wish we could, but we can't. So I will tell you this for you parents out there, your child's middle school experience is going to first start with you. It'll be your attitude toward the school that they're at and kind of making the most of it. I will share this story because it is true. This was a family that was at one of our middle schools. I ran into it at an event. It was last year. And the parent came to me and she said, I want to apologize. I kind of laughed and I said, for what? She had sent me a barrage of emails just about how she didn't get the school that she wanted. That was really difficult for her. She was angry and she was mad. And she finally just said, you know what? I can't take that feeling and try to, place it on my child. I'm going to just tell my child we're going to make the most of this experience. And I think with just that change in attitude or latitude, even just thinking about it, that child thrived at the school that they were at. And actually, she said, blessing in disguise, it was a good thing that he did not end up at the school that they chose. She said it was like a just amazing experience. So I say that to you because I know that every single one of our middle schools is doing a tremendous job and putting forth a ton of effort to educate your children. And I know that in recent times, there have been some challenges. Besides COVID and everything else going on, the schools really, really are doing the best job that they can in trying to educate your children. No school's perfect, but again, I think that starts with you and what you make of your middle school experience. So tell your kiddos, you're going to just go and be the best version of yourself, and I'm going to be here to support you. So that's important. It feels important to kind of bring that up in here. Okay? All right. Let's see here. Some folks in the chat, we are outside of the district, or we want to come into the district, or we want to return. If you're a resident of Long Beach Unified, then you can make school of choice selections. That also does apply to folks who might right now be attending on an IDP, an inter-district permit. So if you right now are at or attending a Long Beach Unified School, or you live in the Long Beach Unified School District, you get to make selections. If you want to come back to us and you're enrolled in another school, your first step is enrollment. So we have to get you enrolled, and we're going to put you in this fake school. It's like a holding bin called School of Choice. And you'll sit in there so that you can make selections. If you are in an IDP, the application's going to open for you. You're going to be placed at middle schools once all of the residents have been placed. So that feels really important. So that's part of attending on an inter-district permit. We place you after all those kiddos. So if you have questions, see our website, visit our enrollment page. You can email us and we can try to answer those questions specifically. Okay. All right. Yeah, great question. Our middle schools don't use grades as admittance. They don't take a look at GPA. They don't take a look at test scores. They don't take a look at any of that. So all of our middle schools will offer an accelerated program. They all will offer special education programs. So because your child might be gate identified or not, that wouldn't put you at an advantage over someone else. After we go through the priorities, which are residents, continuing folks, siblings, and then our dual immersion folks, after that, it's just a randomized lottery for anybody else trying to get in. For high schools, and you can go to our high school choice website, 6th grade, it's important for those grades. 7th and 8th grade is important. Right now, we do take GPA for this high school, not for middle school choice. 6th grade, 7th grade, and then the fall semester of 8th grade. So again, while your kids are figuring out how to be the best versions of themselves, that GPA does matter for some of our high school programs, not for all of them, but for some. So it feels a little early to say that, but again, kids going through being the best versions of themselves, achieving well and doing well in school is really the best advice that I could give you. Okay. All right. Lots of questions regarding dual immersion. I would encourage you, if you want a model or want to know what the formula is, the dual immersion programs will let you know that. You can also visit their website. So our schools right now are updating their websites, but if there's a school you're interested in, you can go online and you can search by school. I'm actually going to go back, if it's okay with the booth, if I want to go back live, hopefully they don't mind, that I'm wanting to go back to our webpage because I did want to show you where you can find that information. So back on our webpage, up top here, if you go to schools and you click on schools, you get all this stuff. So dual language schools are here, so they'll talk about that. I think we have to update it and definitely add Stevens on here. But if you go to middle schools, that's here. All of our middle schools are here with a link. Our elementary and K through 8. So our K through 8 schools are kind of mixed in here, but let's just click on middle schools for a second. If I click on it, here's all of the schools. You can go directly to their websites and you can get lots of information. Bell schedule, uniforms, electives, principal information. How do I get a hold of a counselor? All of their information is here for you, so you can kind of preview the school before you go and you can take a look. It gives you the address, it shows you what it looks like. So all that information is there. It feels important to kind of let you know what that looked like because that is linked to our webpage. So I did want to bring that up. I'm going to go back to our live feed. All right, let's see here. Okay. This is important. For those of you attending IVA, it is a charter school. However, you are not enrolled with Long Beach Unified. You are enrolled at IVA. You have to re-enroll, come back to Long Beach Unified before we can place you there. So that is important. Also, let's see here. I can't speak for the other districts in terms of choosing schools because I don't know what their process is. I just know that students that right now are enrolled in Long Beach Unified and you have a Parent View account, that's how you're going to enroll. If you're attending a Long Beach Unified school or you're a resident and you've re-enrolled, you get to make school of choice selections. If you are moving after the school of choice process, so you're coming in May or you're moving in June, what you'll do when that occurs is you'll be calling our secondary schools office, because my job will be finished. We'll have all our replacements done, and they're going to try to find you a place. This is really important. I'm surprised I didn't mention it before. The address that is seen on Parent View right now is the address that the system will use for school of choice. So it doesn't matter what school you're attending now. What matters is where you live. So I would encourage you, it's probably been a minute since you've logged on to Parent View, some of you. Your homework, go on to Parent View, make sure the information is correct. If things have changed, you've gotten remarried, you've moved, you've gotten divorced, there's another address, there's a sibling, a step sibling, all of those things need to be fixed before March 21st. You have some time, but don't delay. The school that you are currently attending can help you fix any of those problems. The reason why that's important is once the application rolls on March 24th, whatever information is in Parent View is what it's going to pull from. If you have a change after that time, the system can't honor it. We have to stick with whatever was in the system when the school of choice application happens. Now, I know life happens. We certainly have people who have life-changing events that occur. Absolutely, for sure, the secondary schools office will try to accommodate that. But I think it's important to mention every single child that's going into middle school needs a spot. So once that happens, there's very little wiggle room to move kids around. There might be one spot here, one spot there. It's not like when you go to college where you get accepted to 3 or 4 schools and you pick one of them. You're going to get placed at one. So that address, the sibling information, is extremely important to make sure it's in Parent View correctly. So again, the school that your child attends can help you with that. Let me go back to the chat, see what we've got. Okay. Let's see here. We do not place at our charter school for IVA. That's not one of the selections that will come up. So if you are interested in IVA charter school, you'd have to call that school directly and they can give you some information on that. Okay. Okay. So some of you are asking about changes to schools and transfers. So our department, my office, does our 5th to 6th grade matriculating students only. We do 8th to 9th as well. We don't do any school of choice transfers. So if you're trying to get your child into a K-8, your 5th grader to 6th grade, and then you want to move like a 2nd grader in there too, that's the elementary office. So we don't have the ability to do that. We only do the numbers from 5th to 6th, and then that's it. And I know that oftentimes parents try to do that and then get the younger one in. That's not always a guarantee. So it's all about space availability. And again, with spaces being so tight, it is really tricky. I know that some of our grades are impacted. They just are. So even across the district, it's like we have very little space in some of those grades. So it would be good to maybe call the elementary school's office to see what information they have about that. We don't have any information on placement at this time, but I know that that's what some parents do. It's tricky. It's 2 different offices placing 2 different sets of kids. So I did want to bring that up. We had a couple questions about that. Okay. All right. If we don't get school of choice, can we reapply? You can, but you have to wait 1 year. So once we place everybody for school of choice, we stop. The schools have to build a master schedule around who they know is coming. So all of that kind of freezes everything to say, this is what we have, okay? During your 6th grade year, if you are not pleased with the school or you'd request a change or you've moved, that will go through the secondary school's office. And again, it's called a school of choice transfer. So we ask that you be okay with where you are for a year. And then after that, the secondary school's office will try to honor as many of those changes as possible. Again, it's based on space availability. So we do know things change. People move during the summer, people move during the school year. Inevitably, that does open things up. but it isn't like one person moves and we take another one in. We don't maintain waiting lists. It's kind of more like a waiting pool. And it's the secondary schools office that will do that. So their phone number, when you go to the School of Choice webpage, I think it says middle schools. That's the phone number that you're going to want to call. After our office places, we're kind of done, and we let the higher up office really take care of really the fine tuning. But we do the bulk of all the placements for our students. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. A really good way to know what your home school is to log on to Parent View and take a look and see what address is there. So you can go, when you log on to Parent View, there's a bunch of buttons. You can click on parent information. I don't know if the School of Choice button is available yet for you, but it will be. All sorts of tabs there for information that you can see. You can also just call your school counselor and have them double check. I would do that if I was you. If I've had a move and I want to double check, that's certainly what I would do to check on that address, okay? Lots of folks are asking about GATE programs. So it's important to know every single school will offer some type of GATE/accelerated program. I don't have the specific information for that, but when you go to the site nights for the schools that you're interested in, that's a really great way that you can get information, and then you can compare the schools side by side to what might be the better fit for your child. Also, lots of the teachers are there, and principals and counselors. You can ask those specific questions about how do they address GATE students, how do they, change instruction, how do they modify it, how do they expand it. Those are great questions to ask at those school sites. We don't have that information. We just simply say every single school does offer some kind of an accelerated program. So important to put that out there, okay? Are there school buses? No, there isn't. Now, if your child has an IEP and as part of the IEP transportation is there, that's a separate category. So let's take that and put it over here. There are no school buses provided to anyone's school of choice. This is really important. We do offer bus passes so students can ride the city buses to get to their school of choice. Lots of kids do. Now, I know as a parent that can be a little alarming for some of you. I say this because if you do get into a school of choice, it's really important to think, how am I going to get my child to that school if they do get in? And what happens sometimes is a parent gets in and then says, I don't have a ride, sorry, I can't go. We don't have the ability to change that. Again, you've forfeited your spot at your residential school. And now if you want to change, that gets really tricky. So I would definitely map out some of those schools so that you can see how far away they are from where you want to be. I can't believe I did mention it in the video, but I forgot to say this. Our middle school choice fair is a wonderful way, if you don't want to go to all the site nights, on March 1st, fingers crossed it's not raining, I'm going to talk to the man upstairs to see what I can do. That Saturday at Cabrillo High School, all of our K-8 and middle schools will be there to answer all the questions that you have. It's a great way so you can see a school side by side without having to go to the school. Every single middle school will have a booth. You are welcome to come. There's no set schedule. It's from 9 to 12. Come, stay for an hour, stay for 3. Come when you can. Come with your parent. It's a wonderful way for you to go around. You'll meet some students, you'll meet some teachers, probably the administrator/counselor. You can ask lots of questions. So you should mark your calendars for March 1st. If there's inclement weather, we'll let you know. We're going to come up with a plan B, but we will let you know what we're going to do during that time. But knock on wood, I'm knocking on the wood. So far, it's been okay. So a Saturday, March 1st is a great place to mark and keep your calendars on there. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I know that we still have quite a few folks that are logged on. Remember, if I don't get your question answered, you're going to email me. I'm going to try to go through and scroll as many as I can to see if I answered in the FAQs, but I'm trying to scroll through and we're answering questions for the good of everyone. Specific questions you're emailing me, okay? All right. Let's see here. Somebody was asking if they could change their mind if they get into a school of choice. You can change your mind, but we may not have a space available for you. Really important. Every single middle schooler, 5th grade going to 6th grade, has to have a space. So if you're leaving your school to go to a school of choice and you get placed there, we've probably filled your space at your residential school with someone that's choosing to go there too. So it's not always a guarantee. So changing your mind is tough. That's why we're giving you plenty of time to make an educated choice. Okay? All right. Yes, you can certainly, on March 1st, there should be at every school a special education representative or somebody, that can talk to you about our SPED programs. Absolutely, positively. Please make sure that you ask. And if not, your case carrier. And you can also contact our Office of Student Support Services to get you some information for children with disabilities. So we've got that on there. Okay. All right. Let's see here. I think I've answered that. Okay. Lots of questions about the dual immersion programs. So folks coming from dual immersion, our middle school office knows we have more children that are coming in. The good news is, at least for Keller, we've never had to turn away anybody that has applied for Keller. We've always had spaces. Now this year, there are more students coming. Not all students that are coming from a dual immersion program choose to continue in middle school for dual immersion. So we're looking at numbers. I believe that the middle school will honor as many of those as we can. We don't know what the numbers will be, so we have to cross that bridge when we get there. But I can tell you this, everybody that had selected Keller as their number one selection coming from a DI program got in last year. We don't know what the numbers will be. And again, we have another option this year, which would be Stevens Middle School, and we will offer that on the west side of town for folks that may or may not want that as an option. Okay. All right, we've got just a few more minutes. Okay. Really good question. Do middle schools offer after-school programs? They do. Some are free, some are paid. When you go and visit the schools, that is a wonderful question to ask. I will tell you this, at our School of Choice Fair, we will have a representative from Long Beach Transit, which is our bus system, to answer questions about bus passes. We will have some folks from our RAP and after school programs to answer those questions. Most of our schools, I think most or all of our middle schools offer some kind of care, and it would be important for you to ask about that when you go to visit the sites. So I know RAP is offered. Kids Club, I'm not sure about the middle schools, but I know the elementaries, which would mean into K-8s as well. So that would be a really important question to ask. Thank you for whoever. That's like a gold star question. So thank you for putting that one in there. Okay. Let's see here. So asking what happens if our elementary homeschool didn't have space for us. Again, it's not based on the school you attend now. It's based on your residential address. So if the elementary school a lot of the kids go to the residential middle school and that's where you want to go, if you're a resident, you get priority. And so that's really important. Doesn't matter where you're attending right now. Okay. City bus passes, you'll be getting them from the school. There's actually a link, I believe, toward the beginning where you can get that link. Our Long Beach Transit folks can help you out with that too. I know my son, when he was in middle school, took the bus. He had a card, but now I believe they can put it on their phone. And so it's an automatic link where they can do that. Okay. Okay. We have just a few minutes left. And again, I know some of you are logging off. Reminder, this webinar will be posted to our website tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, as soon as we can. If you're sending us emails, be patient with us. We're getting ready to launch our high school application on Friday. This feels really early to be doing our webinar now, but that way you have tons of time to think about the decisions that you want to make and mark your calendars and email us and get all of the information. I will tell you this, middle school is exciting. It's my favorite time, as hard as it is. I love to refer to kids as they're half-baked cakes, right? They think they know, but they don't know. And it's just a really great time of self-exploration and trying to figure out who they are and what they're capable of. And so that's really what you have to look forward to. And it's awesome. So if you're a middle school kid, we got you. If you're a parent, we got you. This is going to be great. And it's an experience, and we have lots of options out there for you. So keep your minds and hearts open. In some cases, the right school for you may not be one that you pick, but it could end up being like a really great selection for you. It'll be what you make of it. I'm going to scroll down one last time to take a look. I want to thank you all for that. Important dates. Let's mark them down. So we've got March 24th is when the application opens. Site nights are March before that, and it closes in April, and we'll post placements. Was it April 24th, April 25th? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's on our website. Take a look there, and I know that everything will be posted for you. Want to thank you all so much for joining us. Again, this will be posted on our website. Email me with any specific questions. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. Be safe out there. We'll see you soon, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.